This is the morning of the 27th of January, 2026. Daryl Chauvin, to the best of my knowledge, is still rotting away in prison for something that he did not do. George Floyd died of a drug overdose. The coroner said that he had enough fentanyl in his system to kill a lot of people. I recall making a video where you could see him taking it in his mouth. He had his mouth open and he popped it in his mouth when he was in the car about to get arrested. And Donald Trump goes ahead and he pardons that Honduran drug dealer that was sentenced to 45 years after serving 2.5 years of his 45-year sentence. And he reportedly brought in millions of tons of cocaine. Yet he goes after the Venezuelan president, accusing him of drug smuggling when there's no evidence that he's done that. And then you got Homeland Security blowing away Renee Nicole Good and Alex Pretty, who's an ICU nurse. I read an article where Renee Nicole Good's family is going to be retaining David Crump. He's the same attorney that represented the George Floyd family and got millions for the George Floyd family, which is totally insane. Daryl Chauvin's mother testified in court. She produced the training manual, which showed the knee position officers are trained to deploy when they're trying to restrain a suspect. And that's the exact same position that David Chauvin used to restrain George Floyd. The mistake that Daryl Chauvin made was not leaving him in the car for 5 minutes longer, because he would have died of a drug overdose. When George Floyd said, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe," fentanyl shuts down the diaphragm. That's why he couldn't breathe. And obviously the laws in that state don't work towards the peace officers. It wasn't just Daryl Chauvin that was sent to prison. I think 3 or 4 of the officers that worked underneath Daryl Chauvin were also sent to prison. Absolutely insane. And again, Trump does nothing to help Daryl Chauvin. Trump's afraid to. Now you got Alex Petty, who got wasted. Don't know how many bullets hit him, but reportedly the officer fired 10. And from what's been reported, Alex Petty didn't have a weapon. He had a phone in his hand, and his other hand was used to try to help a woman that was being tackled by Homeland Security. The whole thing's absolutely insane. People need to write to their worthless representatives, and someone's got to put together a petition to demand that Daryl Chauvin's released from incarceration. He is not guilty of anything. Imagine having to spend the next 33 or 34 years of your life for something that you didn't do, incarcerated. Every single night and every single day must be like a hellhole. Daryl Chauvin's already been stabbed multiple times. When he was, I believe it was in Arizona, that he got stabbed in a prison in Arizona. I've written to Daryl Chauvin 2 or 3 times. He's never written back. And all I've tried to do is help him. which is what I'm trying to do now. Again, people need to get together and put together a petition and demand that he's released from incarceration. And the officer that killed Alex Pretty, that has to be thoroughly investigated. I don't know why he would have to discharge 10 rounds in someone that's holding a cell phone. Again, I have no idea how many times Alex Pretty was hit. But obviously, it was fatal. And this David Crump, he cashes in big time. He made, I think, millions of dollars when he represented the George Floyd family. And that was just a complete, total sham. Let me know what you think. You sure as hell know what I think. And I cannot do this alone. Please, folks, reach out to your worthless representatives. Get together, put together a petition to have Daryl Chauvin released from incarceration. And if the officer or the border agent that killed Alex Pretty and Renee Nickel Gold, well, they need to be prosecuted. That's just sort of what I think. I can't do this alone, folks. Pass it along, and thanks for listening.